There's a lot of people on this app that talk about the fantastic benefits of buying a property under a trust. For example, buyer's agents, real estate agents, right? Financial planners, accountants, even mortgage brokers like myself talk about it's so great to buy a property under a trust because it maximizes borrowing capacity. But let me show you an example where buying under a trust really isn't really a great idea, especially when your affordability, which is your ability to have the cash flow to make the mortgage repayments, which I have a client over here that contacted me to undo this mess, when your affordability is not on top of your borrowing capacity. So I've got a client over here, right? So basically this is his current structure and I'll explain to you as I go along. So this client over here has engaged a one-stop shop buyer's agent group, which means they have a buyer's agent, an accountant, a financial planner, and a mortgage broker all working together to get this client to buy property under a trust because it increases his borrowing power. So the background story is he has a owner-occupied property. Before it was about maybe 40 to 50% LVR. He cashed that out and used that to buy his first investment property under a trust, obviously through the financial advice of the financial planner working with the buyer's agent one-stop shop group. And in the last 2 or 3 years, he bought multiple properties under a trust. Now, at this point, the borrowing capacity, if he bought it under a personal name, would have stopped on property number 2. But because he went to a one-stop shop, all the experts in that one-stop shop were like, hey, it doesn't really matter you reach your borrowing capacity. You can actually buy under a trust as long as you can afford it. As long as we can find banks or non-banks which show that each trust can be sustainable, we can ignore the debt there. And therefore, from 2021, he got one more property, then another property, and another property. And you can look at the interest rate, really good rates versus the rental yield, which the property manager working with the buyer's agent could show, hey, you're making a massive profit. Keep doing this. Keep buying under a trust. But here's the thing, rates don't stay that low. And after 13 interest rate hikes by the RBA, this client is facing in 2024 for the rate beside the personal one, 6.3 owner occupier, which is with a major bank. All the loans under a trust are around 7.99, 7.67, 8.19 for this one. And look at the yields. The yields are now lower than what they can charge by these major second tier or non-banks that do properties under a trust. So now the client's cooked. The total loan is $2,072,000. I'm telling you, his income didn't really increase that much. Even with the rental yield, this guy is struggling to make repayments. His affordability is tanking. Yes, he got the borrowing capacity to get all these extra 3 properties, but due to the rate rises, the 13 consecutive rate rises, his affordability is reaching a brink of mortgage stress. He's feeling the stress. He's working 2 jobs. His wife is working 2 jobs. They have 3 kids. It's like the Titanic was sailing really smoothly. Iceberg comes, boom. Now, here's the funny thing. The accountant, the financial planner, the mortgage broker working with that buyer's agent, that one-stop shop, is pestering him to buy another property under a trust. Because apparently they found a bank that doesn't see all the debts that he has in those other trusts. So now he's booked a call with me. I've mapped this out. He wants an independent, unbiased view of what the hell he's really doing. I'm going to him, mate. Yes, we can create more borrowing capacity, but hand on heart, mate, your affordability is going to ruin you. You can't afford this anymore, mate. And in all honesty, not to name and shame the buyer's agency group, I don't think they did anything wrong. They didn't put a gun to his head and go, mate, buy a property under trust. But I want to show you that their advice is biased, especially if they're in one group. Because look at what they make. And I'm not saying, the buyer's agent charging the fees and stuff are wrong, right? I'm just saying there is an agenda for them to sell you buying a property under trust, especially when you reach your borrowing capacity, right? You see ads everywhere, right? You can look at how much money they make per property. 15 G's for finding you that property. Then to set up a trust, $3,000. Then maybe financial advice, $5,000. The broker, we just invoice the bank. We don't charge you. But these 4 people benefit every time you get hooked in to buy a property under trust. And then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Do they care whether the rates have skyrocketed and you can't afford it? No. They'll be like, hey, mate, I don't know a crystal ball. Back then, it was good. And then, you went along with it. And obviously, if you sold all the properties right now, you'll be laughing. You're on like a average income and you sold all this property and then you would pocket a lot of money, right? Like, for example, if you were to reset everything and sold all the properties under a trust, the total value from this to this is 2.1. The total loan is $1.6 million. You'll pocket $475,000 in a span of like 3 years. Obviously, 50% of that would be capital gains tax. All in all, this video shows the pros and cons and in hindsight of what my client is feeling. He feels he's got himself in a pickle, and I'm unwinding that. Now, there's no way I can refinance all that to a lower rate. There's no way a bank would take that much debt for this little income that he has. Like, if you see his income, you'd be so shocked that he has bloody 4 properties. All I'm saying is, I'm not bagging out buyer's agents, accountants that work with buyer's agents, financial planners that work with buyer's agents, and brokers that are in that one-stop shop. All I'm saying is, they do have an agenda, it's bias. Have your due diligence done before you do such a thing. Always seek maybe an independent advice. I'm not saying seeking me, but have a third party overlook it. Is there something fishy there? Anyway, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think this client did well? Is he silly to have listened and gone ahead with all this strategy to grow and retire financially free, whilst right now he's facing this brink of mortgage stress, thinking about maybe selling too and going backwards? So I don't know. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think.